Welcome to New to the Streets, Artists and Authors. I'm Dustin Claddle, your host. Today joining us are two authors. We have Kelsey Grammer and Andrew Shaw. Welcome to Artists and Authors.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So it's interesting, Kelsey, you and I were talking about this world you live in, on entrepreneurship, and you're also an author. Talk about your recent book.
Well, I've always sort of played around with the idea of writing, but I always felt intimidated by it because everybody I think is better than I am. But a mission statement kind of came to me through a reading from a medium that said my sister wanted me to tell her story. And so I sat down and started to jot some notes thinking, how would I go about that? After about 10 pages, I realized I was writing a book. So I spent the next 3 years writing this book. I'm actually happy with it.
How did it change you?
It brought me a greater sense of peace about the loss of my sister and the fact that she's still with me in many ways, but it also, it gave me a greater appreciation for the joys that I've been given as a child. My childhood was a remarkable childhood. I had a fantastic decade, courtesy of my grandparents and my mom, and the friendship that I had with my sister, who came into my life when I was 2. So I wasn't particularly conscious of it, but pretty quickly after that, I became really aware of the fact that I had a wonderful sister, and we loved each other deeply. Maybe even before most siblings understand that they love each other. That can take different amounts of time and gestation, but we knew pretty much right out of the box that we were meant to be together, and that this life was going to be something we did together. And then, of course, when she was taken in such a dramatic way, it was a defining tragedy in my life, and it has remained so, honestly. But Karen is still with me, and I wanted to actually introduce her to the world that I've known. I wanted to give her a life of her own in the idea of remembrance, of being remembered as.
It takes courage, though, to open up like this, Kelsey.
Well,
having read the book myself, I mean,
and thanks for that.
This is you exposing this part of you that others never see, and probably your own children didn't really know about it.
Right, no, that's true. Well, my son Gabriel said just the other day, he said, "Dad, I'm going to do an impression of you writing." So, okay, we got it. Oh Lord, I was just weeping all the time, and but it did feed this. I mean, it was an amazing sort of purging for me to get it out, cathartic, but it's still there. Will I never weep again? I think I wrote that in the book. I said, I will weep buckets, but and that will always be true in this loss of Karen. But I realized also through writing about her how much she's still with me, how much she's protected me, and our life since she was taken. She's still been with me all this time.
You live for both of you, it sounds like.
Yes.
Your accomplishments, and you're big on family. You also have
the
brewing company called Faith. Mm-hmm. Faith American
Brewing Company, yeah. It's named after my daughter, Faith, and my love of America, which is, it's pretty defining in terms of my life. I love this country. I love the courage of this country, the adventure of this country, the nerve of this country. I mean, it's like they say of Chicago, it's a country with swagger and big shoulders. It dreams. The American dream is actually, America is the dream. And you get to define whatever that's going to be for you yourself. And that's what I think is written in our founding documents, Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. There is this inner swagger that is dedicated to the idea that every human being, every individual is extraordinary and is limited only by their imagination and the wherewithal they have to go out and get it.
Why do you think then there are so many people in Hollywood that almost have this shame that of acknowledging or admitting or wanting to talk about the country?
The prevailing wisdom in Hollywood, I think, was sort of detoured back during the McCarthy hearings. But it became popular to hate America back during the 50s. And whether or not that was going to last, I don't know if it was imprinted at that time. But there is a notion among the Hollywood elite that they're supposed to hate America. And I don't see why, but they take short views and make money out of it.
So this isn't some conspiracy. You know this to be.
No, I think this is pretty accurate. Yeah, but it's popular to criticize your own turf because you can. I mean, when they say we're going to speak truth to power, for instance, in Hollywood, I was sort of giggled at that because I said, at what cost? What does it cost you? Nothing. I mean, people who stand up to power and still go through with it, who I admire, are the ones who would lose their life because they do it. There's nobody in Hollywood who's going to lose their life because they spoke truth to power. Anyway, so I'm not going to go too much further down the ridicule train. So I find that ridiculous.
And do you think that that's caused you issues with working with people?
Well, I hope not. I mean, I hope that it hasn't cost me jobs. It probably has, but you know what? I mean, maybe they weren't the important ones.
So, you've done okay.
I've done okay. Yeah, I did okay. So it's all right. I can't really piss and moan about it, can I?
And your brewing company, I mean, this is an area that you grew up in, and your grandfather exposed you to the Catskills.
Yeah, no, I love it.
What is it about the region that just makes you, it sounds like, by the way, it's a bit of self-care for you.
It is a lovely place for me. It makes me feel alive and at home. I don't know what that's about. I mean, maybe I feel closer to God there. I don't know what it is, but I sense a great spirit there for me, a great connection to the earth. One of the sort of side slogans for the beer is the land, the work, the beer. It's about a relationship with the land and the work you do and the recreation you create for yourself. And that was all brewed into the beer in my mind. But the nice thing is that the beer is actually really good. So I don't have to apologize for it. When I offer somebody a beer, I want them to be able to enjoy this tradition of it's got intention in it that is to be shared with our friends, with our fellows, to make new friends, to luxuriate in family.
Is it harder for men to make friends?
You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I've never really thought about it, but yeah, make long-lasting friendships, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to have 2 or 3. You know, that's okay. And I've got 2 or 3.
And you've been open in the past about, certain things that you struggled with.
Yeah.
Yet you still put yourself around beer. So talk about self-discipline, how important it is.
Self-discipline's interesting. I mean, I've mentioned this to other people. Your program, the program you work, 12-step, whatever you want it to be. Eventually, you can, if you are not losing your sight of yourself in whatever indulgence you wish to make, go ahead and enjoy yourself, and then be moderate, moderate it.
It's all about a balance. Everything's balance.
Exactly.
Moving to that, Rabbi, you and I were talking about this word hope, allowance. And you've got this incredible book, 70 Days for 70 Years. What makes somebody, a rabbi, want to focus their time on this?
I mean, going back to what Kelsey was saying about family, I mean, my story, the Jewish people's story, was the Holocaust was such a major sort of tragedy for the nation. We lost our family. So therefore, this project was a few years ago, was for the 70th anniversary since the end of the Holocaust, to reclaim their lives and to remember them, the idea of remembering people. And this went all across the Jewish world. 300,000 people around the world in 4 different languages learned an essay a day in memory of somebody who died in the Holocaust. So it was very positive, and it really united families, united communities, and it gave them hope. I think because my mentor, Rabbi Sachs, used to say that we've got to find hope in everything. Because if we don't have hope, then we give up. So I think for me, writing a book which could unite people and allow people to connect and learn and remember, it just was something positive, something so negative, but it created something so positive.
Now, talk about faith, because being a man of faith, but there are some people that don't necessarily take to that same view. What about faith in yourself? And then also I'm going to ask you the same. Is it?
I think faith is such a important word today, because it's not just faith in the Almighty or faith in a God. There's also faith in you, believing in yourself, having self-esteem, having self-belief. Because I think some people today don't believe they can achieve. The sort of victim culture, and it's so unhealthy. We've got to believe in ourselves. We've got God-given talents. We've got to find them, and we've got to use them.
It was interesting. I remember we said this clip about Snoop Dogg, and he was thanking himself. I want to thank me for doing this and this and this. Kelsey Grammer, you had a lot to thank yourself for.
Yeah.
The older version has a lot to thank the younger. Thank you for getting me here.
Right. My theory about it is you just don't quit. You know, as long as you breathe and you don't quit. You don't have that luxury. Otherwise, I mean, stick-to-itiveness, tenacity. I used to say, if you need three things to succeed: talent, tenacity, and intention. If you've got a plan and you stick to it, you'll probably end up doing pretty well as long as you have a little talent.
You have this way about you, having spent time with you, is that you're happy. That is that there's this abundance around you.
Well, I think that's true. That's very, very, very perceptive. There is abundance, repletion, I like to call it. I mean, everywhere you turn, basically, there's another dietary supplement for you in terms of your creativity. You know, you can just go like, look at that. Isn't that extraordinary? And I mean, I look around our country. I look at Andrew, Rabbi. Everybody always calls him Rabbi Shaw. And I was Andrew, I see him as a friend of mine. We have this dream of showing Americans what it is to be an American, and he's English. Yes. So, but I love that perspective is that don't you realize what you have? And of course, there is some inimical energy that is doing its best to convince Americans that they aren't special. But you know what? This is a
if you think about it,
place.
The original founding fathers, they had hope, they had vision. It was a human vision, it wasn't an American vision. It became America. So even as a British person, I can relate to that idea of beginning something, creating something which changed the world. And that to me is incredibly exciting and incredibly inspiring.
Now, do you think that we as a species are losing hope, Rabbi?
I think the invention of the internet, social media has been wonderful, but it's caused tremendous issues as well. People now are more lonely than ever before because we don't connect into people. We connect with our phone, connect with our devices.
They don't turn to one another anymore for information or for...
And that's why family is so important. That's why community is so important. And we've shown in faith communities, just by having a place to go to meet with people, to talk once a week or once a day, actually does so much for the human being because it connects them to somebody else, and which a phone can never do. That's why, Zoom and COVID were so detrimental to the human species, because we need to be with people.
There was this video that came out a couple years ago, and it showed this guy that apparently was in a bed, and he's texting somebody and saying, what are we going to do tomorrow? What's the plans? And then it would show this lady, and she was doing the same thing. And then they zoomed out, and they both were in bed right next to each other. Yeah. This was the community.
Welcome to the 21st century. Yeah.
And so how are you then advising your own congregation? I mean, in terms of connecting and putting your phones away, do you give yourself permission as a rabbi, and same with you?
We have the best things called Shabbat. Once a week in Jewish religion, for 25 hours, we turn off our phones and we turn off all electrical gadgets and we just be with our family and friends. So we have literally, it's detox. And my kids, who are now teenagers, they say to me, thank God for Shabbat. Because that's the day when they go to their friends, they walk, they talk, they play, like as kids, when you would just naturally just be doing this. So I think sometimes you've got to just take a step back. And we have in Jewish religion, Shabbat's incredible. It allows us to take that. It's an island in time, I call it. We can step aside for 25 hours and just be. Don't have to become, you can just be. So for me, as a rabbi, that is what I encourage. I say to my congregants, don't keep Shabbat just for God. Keep it for yourself. It's good for you. It's good for your soul. It's good for your well-being, just to step away from the crazy.
You were shaking your head, and you agree with it culturally.
I do. My kids are definitely involved in their devices. And we're doing our best to sort of say, all right, it's time to put that down now. So 6 p.m., done for the day. And we sit and hang out together. Or we try to. It's not going quite as well as I'd like it to with my 13-year-old. She's sort of siloed herself off a little bit. But, I mean, she's a great kid. She's a terrific piano player. So, I mean, she's got some signs of life.
So is my mother. I love piano playing as well.
Very exciting.
Loves his devices, but loves his piano like that.
But we're getting there. But this idea of a Sabbath, this Sunday, for us is something we're trying to instigate and install in our family. And it's been medium success, but we're getting there.
So 250 days. Talk about, Rabbi, how you and Kelsey, who connected you both?
So we have a mutual friend, Daniel Shakani, who I've known him for years. We live in the same community and we've been friends and spoken about things. Just happened one Shabbat, I was around at his house just talking, and I mentioned this idea I'd had for many years, trying to get it to fruition, this 250 days for 250 years. And he started me think about it. And literally a week later, I get a call. I'm sitting at home and he says, what are you doing now? I said, just working. He says, well, can you come out to dinner? There's someone I'd like you to meet. And it was Kelsey. And we got talking, and I think straight away Kelsey saw the vision that I had in terms of what we need to do for America 250. But I think said very clearly, you're British, you can't really be the face of this. I'm going to be the face of this project. And I said, absolutely. But what's interesting about our discussion before, part of the 250 days lasts a year, but a year is 365 days. But it's not. It's Monday to Friday are the 250 days. And Saturday and Sunday, we're telling people, take a step back. And it's kind of trying to teach that idea within the project that, the weekends are a little different from the week. Do something different. Do something, more engaging with your,
And this is the only project, what I find fascinating is that everybody's pointing toward July 4th, 2026. And then everything's over that day. This begins on July 4th, 2026. And it goes for a whole year afterward. So we're already into the next 50 years, the next 250 years, if you want. I'm very excited by the idea that this would reacquaint some Americans for the very first time with their history and with their purpose and with their sense of what a great gift it is that these men who were free thinkers, obviously, and were willing to die for it, put down in words what we can actually point to and say, this is how we got here. And I wonder sometimes if it has more to do with what America is geographically. Is there some sort of chakra, some strange earth vortex that emanates freedom? But freedom's a wild word, and the best freedom, of course, comes with great responsibility. And I think that's what people have forgotten. There's a contempt for the idea of freedom right now, because I guess something that may have happened as a result of the electronic age, the cellular phone age, whatever, information age, is it has taken people away from their society. It's this society, it's America's society that makes it so great, that generates this sort of overwhelming sort of hail fellow, well met energy that is American energy, that is like, you accomplished something. We are so proud of you. I mean, there are great neighborhoods in the world where that smallness of mind doesn't exist, but that smallness is what's contaminating America now. And we need to get away from it. And that individual thing was, hey, well, what is it doing for me? Well, maybe it's doing nothing for you, but turn it around. Turn around the idea that in America, you can have an idea and you can find 5 or 6 or 10 or 1,000 other people who are willing to share it and do something.
But you make it sound easy. I read recently that we're not attracted to what is healthy. We're attracted to what is familiar. So for the people that are stuck, Kelsey, they can't see the good. Rabbi, they can't see how America is great because they're desensitized. How do they get out of that familiarity and get to a place of being held?
Question. I think it's the whole, as Kelsey was saying, this is not a one-shot wonder. This is a drip, 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 day in, day out, to gradually reacquaint Americans and the world with the values that have made humanity soar over the last 250 years. So it's a gradual process. I think
this will also, hatred has taken a big role lately. I don't know if it comes from self-hatred or not, or is it just envy? Is it greed? Are there all the things that are generating this idea that somehow I'm lacking and you're responsible for it? That will always backfire. If you believe that somebody else is responsible for your success or your failure, then you got the wrong guy. If you're talking to the wrong person, go look in the mirror and figure it out. I'm going to get up tomorrow and I'm going to go do something. I'm going to do something that's going to change my life. I'm not going to ask you to change it. I mean, we've got people who want to have children saying, oh, well, but I'm going to need free daycare. Yeah. Well, why would you do that to your own kid? Why would the condition of having a child be based upon, I'm going to need free childcare?
What did your sister want to be?
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, she died when she was 18. So Karen was an adventurer. She wanted to meet everybody. She had no sort of predetermined set of goals of characteristics you had to have to be interesting to her. She was interested in all people, all races, all creeds, all colors. I mean, she was an open-minded, wonderful book. She adored people. And we grow up that way. I mean, my grandfather adored people. He taught us this a great sense of respect for every person. Not, it wasn't, you got to walk in their shoes kind of thing, but it was basically just accept the fact that everybody has a story to tell and is just as good as your story, just as interesting as your story. But it is up to them to define what that story is going to be. You get to write your own story. And in America, that has value. That's why in America, there is no class system. There really isn't. They talk about being, lower, middle, upper class. That's all just some sort of weird construct to make us hate each other. I mean, I don't think that exists at all.
That's, again, the idea. This is not just a book, it's an app. And the app's going to encourage people to grow, to find things they want to do, they want to achieve. Volunteering, community, we want to generate all that. Get involved with this beautiful world.
You're looking for the learners.
We're looking for learners, but we're looking for people just to say, I want to connect with somebody else. I want to go beyond myself. And as Kelsey said, I think people have got to say, what can I achieve? I think the world tells you you're a nobody. No, you're somebody. You are just as important as the next person. Doesn't matter whether you're a Hollywood A-lister or just a regular person down the street. You've got something to contribute to the world. Do it.
So what will success look like to you, Rabbi?
Success will look like similar to this. I mean, one of the most beautiful stories I heard from this project was people on the subway with their books, reading a book, and the guy in his suit and tie going to work in the city is opposite a kid in jeans, and they're both reading the same book. And they both realize we're connected. So that's kind of what I want to create. That all across America, you feel, it doesn't matter who I am. That Kelsey Grammer's reading the book, but I'm also reading the book. So I'm linked to somebody. And I think this is so accessible to everybody. So success looks like America saying, we are the same. The world saying, we are the same.
These clues are everywhere, though, Rabbi. Why do we miss that success, all the clues it leads? Why do we miss them?
Because I think the world teaches us that we're a nobody. No one's fault, I don't think, but you kind of feel like, what am I? I'm just one dot in the middle of an ocean. Whereas I think what I believe, and I think what faith believes, and what I think the world should believe is everybody. The Talmud teaches us that because of me, the world was created.
Your body language says you're like, Dustin, I got to tell you, no time to me. As he said, I'm on. I mean, it's a dangerous area for a lot of people, but
some of this has to do with the spiritual battle that's going on in our life, on this planet, this plane, whatever you want to call it. There is a force that wants us to feel small, that wants us to give up hope, that wants us to destroy ourselves, that wants us to be lost in self-loathing. You can call it whatever you want to call it. You can call it the enemy. A lot of people call it that. But there is definitely a darkness that will steal your opportunity in life.
Well, why do we teach people that it's wrong to love yourself? That it's wrong.
Well, you don't
want to achieve.
We don't.
It's wrong to
do
love yourself.
We say, well, we tell people it's a mixed message issue. Like in most of our education, people are saying, "Oh, self-esteem is the most important thing you could possibly have," and then they say you come from a shit country.
Or we hear this around narcissists around any high achievers.
Yeah. Well, God bless narcissism. I mean, on some level, because otherwise, no one would shower. I mean, honestly, you want to dress, you want a decent life.
Rabbi Strauss used to say the politics of envy is so damaging. When people are envious.
And there it is. I mean, that is the same thing. And who's in charge of that? I don't know. But what would the enemy want to do best? Destroy your ability to get out and do something for yourself. It just make yourself feel small. Make you feel like you don't matter. And we have to kick that sucker in.
So one of the ideas in the book that says this, there's themes in the book each week. Day 1 is life. We're talking about heroes of American history. And day 5 is stories of us. Regular people with their regular stories to say, it doesn't matter if you're the most famous person ever or just a nobody, you're both somebodies. You both achieve something. So even in the book, we're trying to educate. Don't just look at the big names. Look at the average Joe who's done something incredible. Or as Robert Williams said in that wonderful film, Dead Poets Society, make our lives extraordinary. And that's really, I think, what we're trying to do, to say to people, make your lives extraordinary. You can do this. You've got something incredible to give. Do it.
But is that in everybody, Kelsey? Is it in our code?
I think it has to be unlocked by extraordinary teachers who point the way. I think that's one of the most important things you can be. A mentor, that sort of thing. I mean, I think a good church, a good synagogue, a good leader, as you say, but to point the way. And there are some who are
and family
better at
parents.
Yeah,
Parents have a huge
I
responsibility.
think you don't always have to have met your mentor. I mean, Oprah Winfrey, I had such a respect and admiration. She's been like on my list of one day being able to ask her how she did it. Because she believed in Oprah.
Yeah.
She never lost faith. That somebody didn't have to tell her. She got up and said, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. That it has to be in you, but you've got to be around high performance people that are going to trigger you and maybe frustrate you.
You've seen like films like Coach Carter, like when you have these films that are very in Hollywood about people, teachers taking over classes of like people who are just not achieving it, and everyone feels like they can relate to that, because I think deep down everybody can achieve. Everyone has a soul that can soar, but it's a matter of finding the right people to ignite that soul and let them soar. And It's not easy, but that's everyone has the ability. Everyone.
But Kelsey, you have reached now this level of success, and I believe you've accomplished more than probably you thought that you would accomplish. But that your mindset, as you said earlier, determines your destination. So where's Kelsey going? And why do you want more for Americans than most of them want for themselves? And the same with you, Rabbi.
because I know how lovely life can be, even though it challenges us. Even in the midst of great tragedy, the giving up part just doesn't make any sense. And giving up on America wouldn't make any sense at all, because this is the foundry. This is the greatest place for the individual in the world. People come here for that. They don't come here because they like the food. They come here because they like the idea that there's an opportunity that may not yet be defined by them, but that they know that opportunity will exist here to create the new person they're going to be, to create the human they want to be. And there's no better place for that than here.
Rabbi, same to you.
I mean, again, as a British person, why do I want something for America? I mean, obviously, personally, my in-laws came here, 60, 70 years ago as young people. They made America their home as immigrants. My wife grew up in New York, and I have tremendous gratitude for what America has given me personally. But I think, as Kelsey said, to me, America is not just a story of a country, it's a story of humanity. Average people deciding on a vision for a country and deciding on a dream and acting on that dream inspired a nation, inspired the world. So to me, I want to be part of that dream, to bring that to the world, or to millions of Americans, to make them realize they should be grateful, they should be incredibly proud, and to also take action for themselves. This is an active project. This isn't passive, it's active. Do something. You've got to do something. You can't just sort of stand by.
And also the project is designed not to ignore our blemishes, but to actually kind of embrace them and say, okay, well, this was a wrong turn, that was a wrong turn, this was a challenge, this wasn't a challenge. And to maybe correct the record a little bit. I mean, most people I know don't realize that Thomas Jefferson 3 times tried to end slavery before 1803. We waited another 60 years before we fought a war about it. It's extraordinary, but these people were men of great vision, who you can ridicule if you want to, but you can only ridicule from the comfort of like no historical understanding at all. I mean, you have to actually put yourself in their place and think, what did it mean to pledge your sacred honor to another person and your life to an idea? These were big things that these guys did. And we want to actually introduce people to the big things that they can do as well.
Well, as a mentor to me and as a new friend, and Rabbi, same here, and as our very dear brother, Daniel, that brought us all together, giving you the final words of what is Kelsey Grammer learning today?
Today I'm learning that there's an extraordinary man beside me who has his fingers in every pie I've ever heard about. And that's really amazing. You inspire me just by the fact that you are as busy as you are and as focused as you are, and that you have time for your family as well. And you have I've learned so much about how you honor your wife, honor your kids, and the time you spend in Sweden. And I'm very impressed. And your own personal history, of your fostering, being fostered as a child. It's an amazing. You're an amazing young man.
Well, I'm hoping that you both will be a part of a book that I am working on, and it's going to be called The 5-Year Mindset. And I'm hoping that you both will give me a little nugget.
Oh, cool. Oh, we're not nuggets. Yeah, probably a nugget session later today.
Thank you again.
Thanks, Matt. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this very special edition of New to the Streets, Artists and Authors. We'll see you next time.